Ferragamo opens up on his legacy, going green, and Nicole Kidman.
This week, I'm talking to James Ferragamo, the grandson of Salvatore Ferragamo, whose shoes grace the feet of old Hollywood movie stars like Marilyn Monroe and Audrey Hepburn. James is continuing that great tradition passed on by his grandfather and Aunt Fiamma into the third generation. He is building on the legacy of Ferragamo, of great design and innovation, and steering the company into the spotlight.
James Ferragamo has a huge legacy to live up to. His grandfather, Salvatore Ferragamo, was known as the shoemaker to the stars. The company he started in 1927 is today one of the most respected Italian fashion houses, valued at an estimated $2 billion.
Okay, James, now you were born into a family with a very famous name. Now, how did that shape you as you grew up?
Really, for me, it was always been a dream to work in Ferragamo, and I started very young, very early age, really working, putting the shoes in the boxes, then working on the production line, and later also selling the shoes in the various stores from Las Vegas to New York to Los Angeles.
Do you find that you had to work extra hard because you are a Ferragamo?
Yes, absolutely. Much harder also because you have your family legacy that you want to carry forward. You want to prove yourself as a manager, somebody that can really do the job and do it well. And so, of course, you have that extra responsibility that you feel.
Getting into the family-owned business is also more difficult if you are a part of the family. Ferragamo has a rule that only 3 family members can work within the company at any given time.
As a large family, we also have some very strict guidelines to make sure that who is a part of the family that works into the business is really somebody that is capable to working into the business. And we created also some limitation, a maximum of 3. Currently only 2 are actually working from the family business in Ferragamo, to try and create that competition really between family members and also maintain the company attractive to professional management. It's 100% family owned, but at the same time we want to maintain that professional management and that ability to really think corporate rather than have the family's point of view overtake what is really logical for a business aspect.
That practicality is the foundation of the Ferragamo empire. Salvatore Ferragamo studied the human anatomy. He combined function with aesthetics, from creating the wedge heel to experimenting with new materials like cork and nylon, and working with alternative leathers like eel and stingray. His daughter Fiamma continued his legacy, creating 2 of the brand's most iconic designs, the Vara shoe and the Gancino logo. But Ferragamo is perhaps better known for its close relationship with Hollywood stars, which continues to this day.
Angelina Jolie, for example, we're just doing the shoes for the next movie that she will be starring coming in January. Nicole Kidman also with the shoes for her film Australia.
So how do you design the shoe for any particular actress, like Nicole Kidman, for instance? Is there like a personality trait that you capture in the product?
There is a certain personality trait. There is also an exchange of ideas and understanding of what they like and what is their taste, and what, for example, Nicole Kidman, she doesn't like things which are too over the top. She's quite tall. She doesn't want to have really very high heels. She likes bags that are also very classic, but at the same time have an element of novelty to it.
Today, the 82-year-old company has expanded beyond fashion into hotels, restaurants and wineries. For the new generation, it also has online shopping. It has even gone green.
We've done a line of handbags that actually was completely biodegradable. So if once you dispose of the handbag, it actually can decompose in the right environment. But the customer doesn't really perceive this as a value. It's something that it's appreciative if the aesthetic of the handbag doesn't change. And it has a lot of limitations. You cannot have hardware on a handbag, for example, because the hardware does not decompose. And we just launched a new line of shoes for men. And the line is actually biodegradable as such that the rubber sole and the leather that's been used can biodegrade up to, I think it's over 2 years, if put in the right environment.
That sounds a bit strange. I do not want my shoes to biodegrade or my handbag to biodegrade.
Well, definitely not when you're wearing them, but after the usage, when you want to dispose of them, then I think it's something important, I think.
Ferragamo is eyeing Asia for its huge growth potential. And though its plans for an IPO has been sitting on the back burner for 2 years, investors are keeping their fingers crossed for a possible share sale early next year. Still, Ferragamo is continuing with its expansion. It recently opened 2 new stores in Singapore. It has more than 40 stores in China and may open as many as 8 more next year. The declining euro also helping exports of its made-in-Italy products.
I think today the word classic is becoming even more trendy. I think many brands are trying to be as classic as possible because they understand that classic means value to the final customer. And I think that for Ferragamo, maybe we took that a little bit too far at one point, but now we really want to make sure that we can use that classic element to really create novelty. The most interesting story that I was able to really understand about my grandfather was his dedication to work, to creating shoes, to creating a new business. Shoes were not considered a fashion item. They were considered really a need. They would wear out and you would have them resold. And today it's really, he was the first one to create shoes from a fashion aspect. And I think that dedication really is an example for me and for my generation of the ability of dedicating yourself to something and, in some way or another, you will have some success.
If you missed or would like to revisit our past episodes again, you can head to our website at channelnewsasia.com/moneymind for highlights of our main reports. We've also got a link to our Facebook page where you'll find the latest analysts' forecasts and investment tips. Well, that's our program this week. Thanks for watching and see you again next week.